Priyank Kharge, son of Congress Chief Minister in Karnataka and Minister in the State Cabinet, has threatened to ban the organization RSS if the party ever assumes power at the centre. Kharge attacked the RSS for being an anti-national organization, one that fuels toxicity and hate. Nothing new really as far as the view of many in Congress is concerned. While some in the past and even currently consider RSS hardly as harmful as Kharge, there is no denying that there is no love lost between the two entities. The Congress has, for example, in the past banned the RSS thrice, and it's clear it might want to do the same if it comes back to power. Today's India and its political environment, though, is not what it used to be under Nehru or even Indira or even in the 1990s. Is a threat of this kind of a ban enactable, given that the Congress party itself has been cozying up to many organizations that can easily be labelled more communal, more anti-national and anti-constitution than the RSS. But there is another more relevant question to be asked, specifically in context of emergency and constitution. Does this ban threat not reflect a dictatorial mindset? Is it even doable anymore in today's world? And therefore, is it more rhetorical than realistic? We'll take that up with our guests in just a bit. First up, let me break down exactly what Priyank Kharge said in his attack. He took to social media platform X a couple of days ago and said, "The day the people vest me with enough power, I will use every constitutional tool to dismantle the toxic anti-national machinery of the RSS. RSS has never had the courage to face the people directly. It lurks behind the scenes," he says, infecting institutions, radicalizing youth and outsourcing hate. He also added, "It thrives in shadows, never accountable. It was, is and will always remain a cowardly anti-national force, a parasite feeding off the very republic it claims to serve." Certainly no one's minced there. But take a look at the history of the RSS and the Congress party in the past. As I said, the RSS has been banned by the Congress governments in the past thrice since independence. The first such case was obviously in 1948 following Mahatma Gandhi's assassination. At that time, there was reason to suspect RSS of involvement, not just in the assassination given that their member was involved, but also of other instances of violence that have broken out. The ban, though, was lifted soon after in 1949 after negotiations and informal conditions, some say, were set with Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, although opinion differs on exactly how that lifting came about. RSS was then banned during the emergency under Indira Gandhi, and the reason was because it was considered a potent organization for organizing protests against the government, talking about its scams and other actions. The ban was lifted when the emergency came to an end in 1977. RSS was then banned in 1992 following the Babri Masjid demolition, along with a whole host of other organizations that spanned across both communities, Hindus and Muslims. The ban was imposed because communal tensions had reared their ugly head. There were widespread protests, etc. going on. The atmosphere in the country was hardly conducive. But it was later lifted in 1993 after the Justice Bhari Commission found that the ban was wholly unjustified. While Congress remains hyper about RSS, for example, here's what the party has taken a rather soft stand on. Let me break this down for you. The Congress party, extremely bold as far as the statements on RSS is concerned. But remember, they've been soft on Kashmir separatists. None other than the former Prime Minister has met even somebody like Yasin Malik. The Tukre voices like Ajith Kumar are actually today in the Congress party. It has been a partner of organizations like the IUML, and the IUML's history too traces back to the Muslim League pre-independence. So if they have a problem with RSS because of its role during that time, why not with somebody like IUML? Jamaat-e-Islami support. Recently, Jamaat-e-Islami support has been taken by Congress in elections that it has fought again in the state of Kerala. Why is it that it is not so emboldened to speak out against organizations which can equally be accused of being communal and partisan? PFI criminal activities in the very state that Priyank Kharge comes from. Previous Congress government under his father's chief ministership have been accused of going soft on PFI elements and even taking back cases against PFI. And we all know the ideology that PFI is known for. AISF, formerly known as the ISF, remember, this is also a party that is led by a religious figure that the Congress party had aligned with in Bengal elections in the past. And some of the statements made by their chief is hardly something that the Congress party would be proud of. So why is it that there is hate for RSS, which seems like to be one-sided if it stands for constitution, anti-communal forces, anti-national forces? There are a whole host of them in this country that can be accused of that. And is it more rhetoric than reality when these threats are imposed or are posed and given out in today's modern day and age? We'll take that up with our guests.
दो शब्द जुड़े गए। हम सब लोगों को मालूम है सेक्युलरिज्म और सोशलिज्म की, तो क्या वो रहनी चाहिए प्रस्तावना में? ये विचार होना चाहिए।
We will see. It's not the first time they will be banned, right?
Let's go across to our guest joining us. Priyank GS is spokesperson of Karnataka BJP. With us, Syed Asad Abbas is political analyst who hails from the state. Sanjay Jha, political analyst formerly with the Congress party, and Daniel Francis will also be joining us. Sanjay Jha, I begin with you. What do you make of this threat that Priyank Kharge has thrown? Yes, you may not like the RSS. Yes, you may have opposition to the RSS and certain beliefs that the RSS has. But just for suggesting that the inclusion or the addition of the words socialist and secular can be relooked at in modern India 50 years after independence, do you think it merits this kind of a response? Will this not be seen as dictatorial, exactly what the Congress accuses present-day government of?
Shivani, good evening, and to both my other friends on the panel. I have 2 points to make. Firstly, as an individual, I'm against bans of any kind. And this is not just about the ban that Mr. Kharge has talked about on the RSS. I believe also of the kind of bans that individuals are feeling in this country since Mr. Modi became Prime Minister.
Those are not, no, Sanjay, let's not do that. Feeling a ban is not a thing.
Fundamental rights.
Feeling a ban is not a thing.
Yeah, no, but 1 minute. I'm trying to make it a little more relevant to our conversation because I think India is feeling the pressure of an authoritarian regime for a long time. Now, let's answer your question. I think the issue is not about banning the RSS, but to basically, it's a hyperbole. I think that statement is a hyperbole to tell people, as you rightly said in your introduction to your program, that if you have an organization that actually calls itself cultural and social, but makes heavy-duty political statements. I believe the statement made by the gentleman from the RSS, I don't want to even name him, because I think it's an extremely shameful statement that he made. He is challenging the very core foundations of India's constitution.
No, they aren't. They aren't core foundations
Mr.
of Indian
Sanjay Jha,
constitution. Sanjay Jha, we need to have this conversation.
It is not Ambedkar's constitution.
No, this is not the preamble that was given to India. That's precisely the issue here.
Well, Shivani, if I can have no interruption, we can have
I will allow you to, please allow me to moderate this. Mr. Prashant, I will come to you. I will come to you. I will come to you. I don't want this to be over each other's voices. Yes. But Sanjay Jha, that's inaccurate. This wasn't the foundation of India.
No, I'll tell you why you are wrong as well, Shivani. Let me tell you the truth in simple words. When the constitution was formed, and just because the words secular and socialist are not there in the preamble, obviously the BJP hasn't read the constitution because their founders and they themselves had no role in the freedom struggle or in the entire architecture of the constitution.
Will this gentleman, you have to be patient. I'll come to you. We've just begun. Please be patient. I'll come to you.
Yeah, because if he interrupts me again, I'm sorry, but I'll have to leave the program because I hope the people are seeing right now the dictatorial mindset and the ideological kind of rigidness of this party that he doesn't even have the tolerance to listen to my part of the talk.
But so Sanjay, can I implore you to please make your point? You're saying, I think you're suggesting that India was socialist and secular in its ethos, even if these words were not part of the preamble. Do I have it correct?
Absolutely. So let me now kind of conclude with that. I think the fundamental issue that you need to ask the gentleman there who's been interrupting me repeatedly is if the RSS of the BJP today want to remove secularism, he's publicly confessing. The RSS in his 100th year has made a public declaration that it is not secular. Why would you want it removed?
But
If you are removing the word,
my contention is exactly this, Sanjay Jha. My contention is exactly this. First of all, somebody is throwing up a question at you. I don't think in a modern democracy, the reaction should be this is so shameless, you can't talk about it. I don't think Indian adults should accept that kind of behavior, that certain things are so taboo that you cannot even have a intelligent, mature discussion about it. I'm personally not of that favor. That exactly is the mindset that allows people to not speak their mind. That feeling of a ban that you talked about, I think it extends to the argument that you're making as well. You can't stop people from voicing their opinions. You may not like them. There's nothing shameful about an opinion unless you're threatening somebody's safety physically. There shouldn't be any other limits to free speech. And
Shivani, the RSS is running this country. Let's be clear.
I'll come to all of that. No, Sanjay, let's not broad base this from what I have started on. One, is it not a dictatorial mindset to suggest that you'll ban the RSS because you don't like it and because somebody from the RSS suggested that, okay, we can re-look at these words being added? History cannot be denied. These were not parts of the preamble. The only party guilty of changing the preamble is the Congress party. It was done also not with the will of the parliament. It was done during emergency. So if somebody suggests, okay, we can re-look at it, it becomes communal? I don't think so. Let Mr. Prashant come in. I'll come back to you. Sanjay, I'll come back to you. Let Mr. Prashant come in. Yes.
Shivani, firstly, all of us are aware as amendments that Indira Gandhi carried out during emergency 39 to 42, where 39th amendment, which happened in a record 4 days' time, introduced on August 7, 1975 in the Lok Sabha, passed by the Lok Sabha after a 2-hour debate, then on 8th August introduced in the Rajya Sabha, passed on the same day in Rajya Sabha, and on August 9, 1975, passed by 2/3 of state legislatures where Congress was in power, and on August 10th, 1975, President gives his assent.
Right.
If this was not the murder of Constitution of India, what else? And she gave herself unbridled powers that her election cannot be challenged. And before the Supreme Court was slated to hear the case, you amend the Constitution to say the office of the Prime Minister or the President cannot be questioned. And Supreme Court, based on the law of the land that existed as on that date which was amended, said that we will not look into the matter. So therefore, if anybody who has murdered the Constitution, it is Congress led by Indira Gandhi and nobody else. And they talk about constitutional amendments in such fervor. Let me point out as a number of times that Congress leaders have amended the Constitution.
No, fair enough. We know that. I have those numbers. We'll run them on the screen. Prashant, the discussion is not so much about whether the Congress has, amended the Constitution or not. We know that they have. The discussion more so is about the fact that you're very quick to point out that the RSS should be banned because, let's say, you find it problematic. I'm not saying whether you should or should not find it problematic. But Daniel Francis, the problem then also is...
No, Shivani, this indicates the mindset of the Congress. The Congress mindset has always been to oppose anybody who stands up for the nation and who puts nation first. For Congress and its stooges, like the once Congressman panelist here, for them the Gandhi Parivar comes first and everything else takes a backseat.
Yeah, that's a hyperbole of the other kind. But Daniel Francis, the question that also goes here is, I've just read out a list of institutions or organizations that are equally communal, if that is the charge that goes against the RSS. And Congress has had no problems taking their support even to win elections. Priyank Kharge is saying that the RSS is an organization that works in the shadows like a parasite. What about Jamaat-e-Islami? That's also a social political organization and it has its political fronts. And you have no problem taking the Jamaat-e-Islami support, the IUML support, which was born out of the Muslim League in India. If they can transform themselves and become a part of social society today and representative of a community, then how can you justify targeting only the RSS? Daniel?
Very interestingly, a few days ago, we celebrated the 50 years of emergency, and the Maharashtra Pradesh Congress chief said that the RSS under Mr. Devras had supported the emergency. If you really go back to history, which is recorded, that in 1980 also RSS worked in favor of Mrs. Gandhi to come back to power. Now, I'm talking very objectively. RSS, whether the Congress of today hates or not, is not an issue. But the Congress of yesteryears did engage with RSS. We know that Nehru invited them for the Republic Day parade. We know that Golwalkar and Nehru met and had a constructive discussion on reimagining India, the Bharat that they called. We have also evidence of the fact that Pranab Mukherjee went to the RSS headquarters, a stalwart of the Congress party, and later the president. So all these things are there. This visceral hatred for the RSS today that the Congress has was not there earlier. In fact, Congress, there was
So
a
what is
section
the
of
reason?
Congress people.
What is the
uh,
reason for
the-
this visceral hate now?
the reason for the visceral hatred that the Congress has today is to please Rahul Gandhi because he single-handedly targets RSS. His grandmother never targeted, his father never targeted them the way he targets the RSS. And in fact, the RSS from its earlier form has become more moderate, and the Congress from its earlier form has become less pragmatic and more extreme in terms of their hatred and their outlook towards RSS.
Okay. Syed Asad
The,
Abbas, Syed As-
they can never be on the same page. They can never be on the same page. But there were two paths that this nation saw and two perspectives in nation building. One never agrees with the other one, but there were many points in history that they converged, and they converged very well, and Congress benefited from that convergence.
No, interesting point you make. But Syed Abbas, the issue also is this, that, you know, it is one thing to say that, okay, we don't agree with your view. It's quite another and a dictatorial way to say that when we come to power, we will ban you. You know, imagine if a similar statement was made, let's say by a BJP leader for any Muslim organization. And this reminds you of the kind of picture that was painted under the term of saffron terror. But none of that ever materialized in the sense that there's absolutely nothing to back that saffron terror existed. How long are we going to use that bogey to suggest that RSS is same to other extremist organizations in India? Because fundamentally, I think, you know, this monkey balancing is done only for that reason. Only for the reason that, okay, if you accuse any Muslim organization of being communal, partisan, you know, pledging more of their allegiance to Islamic laws than the constitution of the country, then Congress can get up and say, oh, but there is an RSS as well. Although there are many differences in the way these bodies function.
Yuaniji, I'm very glad that at the opening of the debate you mentioned about, you're championing the cause of modern reasoning. We are indeed a young country. We are a youth force to reckon with in this world. And I completely agree with you on the front that, yes, there needs to be logical reasoning and people with entitled opinions and the logical reasoning must come through. Now, the debate being around the constitution and Mr. Dattatreya, who is the General Secretary of the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, said about two words, secularism and socialism. The fact of the matter, let us understand what is RSS problem with socialism, which speaks of equality to all the citizens of this country, and secularism. Secularism simply meaning that the state, our beautiful country of India, does not have a religion of its own, but protects the rights of the religion of all the people of this country. The fact is, I think Mr. Dattatreya has read the map wrong. We as a country has always been socialist and secular, and we will continue to be without a single word being changed or altered from our holy constitution.
Okay,
This first
but why
needs to
was
be
it
right
added
here.
then? Why was it added then? If we were always secular and socialist, it didn't stop previous governments before 1975 either.
It was, Shivaniji, I will answer that. That's a good question. It was rightfully added because it was understood
It
that
was
we
rightfully
are a
added.
nation.
You've already
I will
given
tell
a
you, yes,
judgment
it
on
was
the
later
intention
added.
also.
Shivani, I need to come in.
Shivaniji, yes,
Shivani, I
yes,
need to
you're
come in here.
absolutely right.
Okay,
It
Prashant,
was
I'll come to you.
Shivani,
It was, you're absolutely
Yes,
right
yes.
on the fact. Sir, can I complete my point, sir?
Yes, go ahead quickly, please.
Yeah, thank you. The fact of the matter, Shivaniji, you're absolutely right on the front that it was later added. Why was it later added? We need to understand our country is so diverse that every 100 kilometers we have a change of language, religion, caste, creed,
And that
color,
knowledge dawned
and
on
so
Indira
so
Gandhi
forth.
in
So
1975 during emergency.
Therefore, I will tell you that. Therefore, in order to unite this nation as one, there is a need of socialism and secularism.
So you're
and
saying
final
India
point,
was not united before 1975?
No, we were, of course, but in order to have a equality amongst all, in order to have the right reign of religion,
So we
it
didn't
is
have
important
equality
to be
amongst
secular.
all before 1975, under Nehru. We didn't have
No,
it.
no.
We
That's
had
not the
it,
point I'm trying
but
to
we
say.
still
No,
wanted
No,
more.
I have a
Shivaniji,
question.
I
No,
will
you're
tell
not
you that.
making. I'm
See,
sorry, Syed Asad.
no,
Don't
no.
bend backwards
Shivaniji,
to support something that is
Shivaniji,
unsupportable.
we
It was
need to.
added during emergency,
It was,
and there is no
it
good
was, but
reasoning why.
it was
It was
added in the
added because it
preamble.
was a
There is no doubt
political
about
statement.
it.
Okay, let me throw this to Mr. Prashant. Mr. Prashant, there are two questions that he asked. One is, what is the RSS's problem with these two words? You know, that's a valid question to ask today. Yes, you may oppose the fact that it was added by Indira Gandhi under the circumstances that it was added, and it wasn't part of the original preamble. But if the RSS believes that these words need to be relooked, they need to then come out and tell us why. Do they believe India is not secular? Do they believe that India is not socialist?
Shivani, Baba Saheb's constitution did not have these words for the reason that India has always been a secular nation which has allowed other religions to prosper in the
Then what is
country
your problem with
without even
secular
imposing
words,
anything.
sir?
Because Indian culture and religious ethos does not mean, has ever never meant to ensure that others don't follow the religion
Okay.
or practice their faith. Which is why, after series of debates in the Constituent Assembly, which my panelists must also understand, the words were not brought about specifically, though the demands were there. Baba
Yes.
Saheb Ambedkar,
I
the
get that. I
architect
get
of the
that.
Indian
That history is
Constitution,
known. But
whom
Mr.
Congress
Prashant,
has-
the question
whom
is,
Congress has
why does
denigrated time and
present day
again,
RSS
whom
oppose it?
No.
What is the
Shivani,
end? What is the end
Nehru's
goal
twist
in
was
asking
that
for these
Nehru
words
did
to
not
be
want Ambedkar to
relooked
win
at?
elections. No, Nehru did not want Ambedkar to win elections. He made sure Ambedkar lost the elections. So therefore, Baba Saheb's Ambedkar's constitution, Congress had a problem, and Indira Gandhi, only to fulfill her personal agenda of remaining in power, brought about this as a political tool
But sir, you're
and
not
nothing else.
answering my question. Okay, let me take that to Daniel instead. Daniel, if this debate is to be had today, that whether we should relook at these addition of these two words in our preamble, RSS also has to tell us why that is a worthy cause to take up. Why should we go back to the previous preamble, even though we believe that we are socialist, we believe that we are secular in ethos, then what is the problem with these words?
No, there is no problem with these words as such. But of course, there's a problem in the way these words were adopted. And if you go back to the Constituent Assembly debates, the forefathers who founded this nation, out of their deliberations, did not wanted this country either to be secular or theocratic. That gives us a greater space, when we limit ourselves as secular or as socialist. Now we are saying we are a socialist nation. Then on what basis the way Congress liberalized the economy? Why didn't it, why is it pro-privatization? What has it done for the, through secularism, through socialism in education or in healthcare? Has it been able to, stop? If you see the kind of Congress leaders in Maharashtra, where I come from, all our education and healthcare barons, that's not socialism. That's not socialism. It was done as a hogwash. It was done. The RSS, whatever position they have, but I have a position on this matter, and I would say that there was no need, and it was deliberated in the Constituent Assembly. There is
Right.
absolutely no need.
Okay.
It was put without any
no,
need, without
that
any
means
defect. In
Shivanji.
fact, it limits our thinking, and I agree with Ambedkar on that. It limits our thinking.
Well, Ambedkar
We are
was
not
very
a
clear
theocratic
that
state. We are
this
not a secular
decision of
state as
whether
such.
India is going to be socialist or secularist needs to be taken by future generations. That cannot be imposed in the preamble of the Constitution
And it was
at
a
the time
personal choice.
of independence.
It was a personal choice. It was a personal choice. Today also we have, a country, very big country, which has Hindu population state, Muslim population state, Christian population state, and all these states are coexisting.
Okay.
Coexisting without
Sanjay
being
Jha,
defined whether they are secular or non-secular.
Sanjay Jha, the criticism definitely is that these were not the statement of intent or articles of faith of the Indian public or even the constitution makers. This was more a political ideology of the Congress party under Indira Gandhi that was inserted maliciously into the preamble. One, there was no need for it if you believe this is what India stood for. And secondly, this wasn't the general consensus of the public or the will of the parliament. It was a political statement inserted into preamble.
Okay, Shivani, if I'm not interrupted, I'll take 1 minute
Yeah,
to
sure.
wrap up my
Please,
viewpoint.
yes.
Please don't interrupt me. Don't allow somebody else to interrupt me either in the interest of a fair debate. The gentleman who spoke before me probably doesn't understand that there's a difference between socialism and communism. And socialism does not mean that you can't have free markets existing with welfare. I think he should read the Supreme Court verdict when the RSS and the BJP supporters went to the Supreme Court on a petition who challenged that secularism and socialism should be removed. The Supreme Court said, I'm sorry, but they are part of the basic structure. There is nothing wrong. For that matter, it's an open confession by the RSS and the gentlemen and the BJP that they are pro-crony capitalism. Number two, what is Mr. Modi doing by providing 800 million people free food grains? And Mr. Francis, since you're from Maharashtra, why is the BJP and the government of yours giving these Ladli Behna schemes? That is socialism. Please understand basic economic ideology before you argue through hyperbole. That won't work. As far as the gentleman from the BJP is concerned, Shivani, they still haven't answered the question. The problem is not why secularism was inserted and why what the timing. The issue is what is the objection of the saffron.
No, I think all three are fair questions.
Secularism.
Satyaja, all three
What's
are
your
fair
problem?
questions. I
They
asked
can't
you the
answer it.
question of wasn't this a political statement and intent
How is that
inserted
political?
into the preamble, which was not meant to be in the preamble discussed under the Constituent Assembly? Is that not grave enough to rethink about? I mean,
Well,
Congress
Shivani-
party today accuses the Modi government of being dictatorial about amendments
Shivani-
and not taking the opposition into confidence when they want certain decisions to be taken. The only time the preamble has been changed was this time. And what is the justification for it? None.
But Shivani, I'll tell you the justification. You're seeing mob lynching happening every day. It doesn't even make the headlines anymore. Calls
Indira
for
Gandhi was so
genocide,
certainly not thinking of that.
bulldozers. Despite secularism being in the constitution, look at what is happening.
Yes,
Imagine
precisely.
if there was
Why
no
did you need to
secularism in the
add it?
constitution.
Why did you? I'm sorry, we're going around in circles. You're saying
that's the
Indira
fact.
Gandhi foresaw that Narendra Modi will come to power and suddenly we'll all feel bans on us in 2014 and lynchings will happen as if
Shivani-
lynchings didn't happen before 2014.
Shivani,
Sanjay Jha,
the truth
I expect
is
a
the
better
founders
argument
of
than
the
that.
institution-
No.
Founders of the constitution had to
I'm sorry,
see
both
the
sides
future.
are actually
That's Shivani.
shifting the goalposts when it
Shivani,
comes to
Shivani,
can I come
the
in?
actual nub of the
second.
debate.
Shivani,
I have a
Why did it
interesting
need to
point
be
to make.
added in the first place
One
when it was
second.
debated
Stands
and
on
it was
part of-
I have
found
an
that it
interesting
was
point to make,
redundant to be added to the Indian preamble?
One
The
second.
conditions
Never
under which it
redundant.
was done, and also what has changed if we have these words. So nobody really wants to get into that.
Ask
Yes,
us
I'll
why
give,
the
I'll give 30,
RSS is
I'll
so
give 30
paranoid.
seconds to all
Can I?
of our guests. Yes, Daniel, first you.
I just
Yes.
want to say something that it was put in the constitution without consultation. It should be removed from the constitution with consultation, not like the way
Correct.
the Congress did. Okay, that's something I want to say. Second thing is that socialism and the Congress, the kind of secular India or socialist India the Congress envisaged. Congress was the first state to bring anti-conversion law. Is that secularism, Mr. Sanjay Jha? You are the one who brought the privatization in India. Is that secularism? Your own Congress president in Maharashtra, since I don't know much, said that Devras helped to the Congress in the emergency. Is it not true? Did you take help from the RSS during emergency?
Okay.
Did you not take help from the RSS in 1984 and 1980 elections? You did take help. So shut up. No need of not giving gyan to others
Shivani,
while
I
you
want
are
some
yourself
decency on
are
your
hiding.
program.
That's not right.
I
I-
want this guy to apologize for speaking the language he did.
Daniel
This guy's
Francis,
an
I would
absolute
request not
disgrace.
to
No,
not to
I'm
be
not
not to be
apologizing.
like
This guy's
this
an
with our
absolute
other
disgrace.
guests.
That's not right. Don't
This
put
guy's an
other
absolute
guests down.
disgrace.
You are not
He's
the
a
only
liar.
person who has
He's a
any kind
liar.
of knowledge.
He's bluffing your viewers on the program.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I
That's
just
possible.
request both gentlemen
You're
to
not the
please
only
please
person
be,
who Can come in,
please be very
Shivani.
aware that it will be nice for all of our guests
He's
to be
an
spoken to
indecent
nicely,
ignoramus.
despite
Yes, no,
our
so why
disagreements.
Congress took help
I
from
no,
the
I don't want to
RSS?
fade anybody's
In
mic,
1980.
but
I'm
please
not
don't
coming on
force
your
me to do
program
this.
against
I have to
Shivani.
give 30
This is a
seconds to
lie.
Mr.
I'm
Prashant.
coming on your program.
Please, guests.
Can I come in,
I shouldn't have to
Shivani?
say this, but please moderate your language. Yes, Prashant, Mr. Prashant,
Shivani,
Yeah, Shivani.
go ahead.
Yes. See, this particular argument about Indira Gandhi had to insert it by the dismissed congressman does not hold water because they did not consult with anybody before inserting. And even now, they blatantly go by the Gandhi Parivar saying that what they've done is right. They don't even want a discussion. And if you have to get down to how communal Congress is, what are the statements they have made in the past about aligning with PFI? In Karnataka, Congress and PFI had an arrangement to say that
Can I
100
come in?
candidates would be put up and then Congress would support and vice versa. It was only on communal lines that they wanted to fight
Syed,
the elections.
come in?
No,
and not
Syed, I
anything
wanted
else.
to ask you
So
exactly
therefore,
this. You know,
this
the
has been the Congress's
secularism.
mindset to align with
Can
these
I come in,
forces, and
Shivani?
only when somebody stands up for national interest,
Can I come
Congress
in,
has a problem.
No, that's a fair
Show me
question.
one
Syed,
PFI person
no,
who's
Syed,
standing
Syed
in times
Asad
of crisis.
Abbas, you know,
Yes.
the secularism ka stamp that Congress gives itself. You know, it's on very shaky ground because Congress has also been known, you know, to play footsie with Islamic extremist organizations. So either you take a principled stand that you don't stand for any religious rhetoric. If you go soft on one, then you have no grounds to be hyper on RSS. Nobody's going to believe it.
Johnny, firstly, the BJP spokesperson from my state of Karnataka mentioned about PFI SDP. I respect it, sir. Kindly Google or research on this front. It was Honorable Chief Minister Sri Siddaramaiah ji. You will find more than 10 statements where he has categorically stated, please, Bharatiya Janata Party, go ahead and ban them. If
Yeah,
they
but
are
he
an
also
extremist
lifted
radical
cases against
organization.
radical PFI rioters.
Absolutely not. Those went to the court,
Yeah,
ma'am,
the court
and only the
reprimanded the
was able to
government
do it.
of trying
Not
to lift those
Siddaramaiah.
cases.
Not Siddaramaiah. Also, one more point. The irony of this whole debate is Mr. Dattatreya, who is speaking of the constitution and Indira Gandhi and the emergency. Mr. Dattatreya spoke at the Ambedkar International Center, jointly organized by the Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts.
So what's the irony there?
The very interesting point here is he speaks of Indira Gandhi and he speaks of altering or changing the constitution of Ambedkar. Look
No,
at the
but
Supreme
this is what
Court's
I'm
wording.
talking about. No,
Look, wait,
Syed,
Shivani,
this is what I'm
look-
talking about. There's
look
no
at the-
irony
look
there.
at the
One second,
Supreme
one
Court
second.
wording.
One
Constitution was
second.
changed
There's
by
no
Indira Gandhi.
irony there at all.
Allow me to finish my
you
point,
can,
please.
no, you can.
Allow me to finish
you
my
can,
point, please.
One second,
Just give me 10
Syed.
seconds.
1 second, Syed.
Give me 10 seconds.
Okay, go ahead.
Please look at the Supreme Court's verdict. Why didn't the Supreme Court, agree to the petition which was launched?
That's fine.
to,
Supreme Court orders or
Supreme
judgments
Court
are
was open to the
overturned by
fact,
governments
and
all the
Supreme
time.
Court
The Supreme Court is
accepted
not the
that
final word on what
secularism
happens on the
and
Indian
socialism
Constitution.
will
1 second.
continue to be a part of the preamble of the
No,
Constitution.
that's not an
No
argument.
RSS
Just
can take
because
away
the
that.
Supreme Court didn't find it worthy at that time doesn't mean as citizens I can't debate it. That's not the point here.
You can
But
debate, but Supreme Court's order is
we are
sacrosanct.
talking about the parliament re-looking at it. We're not talking about a legal process here. But you talked about how he was at an Ambedkar plus Indira Gandhi organization lecture. And that's exactly the beauty of what I'm talking about. You can disagree with what Indira Gandhi did. I don't think that the Congress does itself any favor by digging in its heels to try and justify even what was not justifiable under Indira Gandhi. Her other good actions can be lauded. Her prime ministerialship otherwise can be lauded. So for Nehru and so for Narendra Modi. The problem is this demagogy, Sanjay Jha, that you accuse the BJP of. This demagogy exists in Congress just as much. And my second question to you, before I wrap up, the Congress doesn't get to say that it stands for secularism when it plays footsie with Islamic terrorism or terrorist-minded organizations in India. It doesn't get to do so.
Well, I can tell you that we can carry on for a long time. But did you hear the Supreme Court what it said on bulldozers being done to raise homes, and it was clearly targeted, right? You know what the Supreme Court says? It said it kind of shocked our conscience. Shivani, in this country, we are talking about Sharbat Jihad now. Since Mr. Modi became Prime Minister, we have normalized mob lynching violence. I don't know how people in this
Shivani,
country
we
go to
can't let
sleep.
this gentleman now.
Again, this guy will start
criticize
all
you.
over again.
Mr. Prashant,
cannot
please allow
target
him
like
to
this
have
saying
his
that
say.
everything-
He's got a
Allow
problem.
him to have his say. I will try and give you a rebuttal as well. Please, let's not
Yeah.
interrupt each other. But Sanjay Jha, that's not my debate today. I understand you have a problem with the way things are running in the country today. But that's
Exactly.
not my question.
But don't you think Mr. Kharge's comment is based on what is going on in the country?
No, but
How
where
can
is
you
the
divorce
proof that
from
RSS is
the reality?
responsible for all of this? You have to make your justifications, right?
Well,
this
let
whole
me- let me-
mindset
let-
that if I come to power, I'll ban you. That's dictatorial.
No, hang on. I'm not. How did I start my
Yes,
my
you
conversation?
said
with
you are not for
I
bans.
said I am not in favor of bans, but you
Right.
got to understand where Mr. Kharge was coming from. You have the Supreme Court was told by Mr. Ashwini, whatever Chaube or whatever his name, Nishikant Dubey, that the Supreme Court is creating a religious war. that the Supreme Court is creating a civil war. He blamed the Chief Justice of India.
Can I come back to the
What
debate on
mindset
the
of
Constitution
BJP?
and the amendment? Can the Congress party claim that it stands for principles of secularism?
Of course it does. Of course it does.
By taking
100%.
IUML support, ISF support, Jamaat-e-Islami support to win elections.
So why doesn't the BJP ban them? If they are really organizations that need to be banned, tell the BJP to ban them.
No, but why doesn't
What
the
are they
Congress
waiting for?
create an equivalence
We are
between
not for
these two?
bans.
The
We
Congress
are
is
not
saying
you.
that it doesn't stand for communalism.
not
Why
like you to
doesn't the
ban.
Congress say that we will not take their support? That question goes
What?
to the Congress
So
first.
why don't you ban the Bajrang Dal, ban the Bajrang Dal, ban the VHP?
Why? Because they
Have you
stand
seen
up for
the
Hindus,
speeches
is
they
it?
make?
The Congress is
Because
saying
they
it
stand
will
up for
ban the
Hindus, you want to ban
RSS,
them.
right? If you are talking about banning the RSS, you can't ignore the other organizations that are equally sectarian, communal, as you may
Shivani,
claim
I'm
the
not
RSS
talking
is.
about banning.
What
I'm
about the
talking
work?
about the
No, I'm
environment
discussing
What
Priyank
Congress is
Kharge's
talking about?
statement. I have to give 30 seconds to Mr. Prashant, then I have to wrap it up. Yes.
See, Shivani, Congress's alliance partner does a big rally in Patna
Yes.
about what? About throwing the Waqf amendment which has been now passed into the dustbin, which means they don't even respect the laws which have been passed by the parliament, which is the will of the people. So therefore, Congress time and again has insulted the people of the country by aligning with forces which are anti-India. Their supreme leader of Congress, Rahul Gandhi, goes outside India, bashes India, defames India outside the country, for what? For
That's
political
not true,
mileage
sir.
and
Okay.
to get the support of this
Can I get
I
radical
10
have run out of
seconds,
Islam
time. I've run out of
entity.
time. I do thank all of our guests for joining us and for that engaging debate, but I have to go on to our other big story that we're tracking. In Tamil Nadu, Sivaganga, the death of a 29-year-old temple security guard has put the spotlight on emboldened police officers. 6 policemen have now been suspended after the post-mortem report of Ajith showed that he had suffered multiple injuries. Police picked up Kumar from questioning on June 27 after a woman filed a complaint saying her gold jewellery kept in a bag went missing after she gave her keys to Kumar to park the car near the Madarpuram Bhadrakali Amman temple. Now, the High Court has also ordered a judicial inquiry led by a retired judge of the Madurai bench and directed the Tamil Nadu government to initiate action against all senior officials responsible. Ajith Kumar worked as a security guard at this local temple, had no criminal record, and was the eldest son of a father who had died in 2004. But he was beaten by cops just on the suspicion of theft, and he has now succumbed. Such was the extent of the barbarism that was unleashed on him. This is what his post-mortem report says. He suffered brain hemorrhage due to a fatal head injury caused by blunt force trauma. There were 300 plus contusions all over his body, including his head, chest and limbs. Multiple injuries consistent with physical abuse during custody and acute injuries to vital organs that could have also been caused because of this assault. On the investigation front, 6 police officers have been arrested and sent to judicial custody. Sivaganga District SP has been transferred and put on compulsory wait at the office of the DGP. We have Ramanathapur as SP who has been appointed with additional responsibilities for now. Case has been handed over to the crime branch of the CID. Meanwhile, the Madras High Court, as I said, has ordered a judicial investigation into the matter. Pulling up the Tamil Nadu police, the court has asked if Kumar was a terrorist to deserve this treatment. And there are also accusations that it was all because the DMK was also involved as far as this matter is concerned. The big question that we ask today is simply this: is the state complicit as far as these police excesses are concerned? Let's go across to our guest. Joining us, Shrikant Karunesh is spokesperson of Tamil Nadu BJP, Suman C. Raman, political analyst from the state. I'm also joined by Sanjay Sahai, who's a former IPS officer. Mr. Sahai, let me begin with you. This kind of impunity with which cops act sometimes, and it isn't only in Tamil Nadu, although Tamil Nadu has had very grievous cases of custodial deaths that have come to light. Do you think this is possible without some sort of explicit government support, state support, if I can say that?
See, first and foremost, what I can say by being one of the panel members of this discussion and being a ex-police officer, I can only hang my head in shame. That is the introduction which I intend to start. See, every police posting is done by the state government, and state government today primarily means political bosses and nobody else. If we talk of the interference, the political, it is not political interference today, it is literally taken over. If we take this case, I think this case is a perfect example of how abysmally low policing can get into this country, more so based on the fact that 24 cases have taken place. I don't know the details of those cases. I presume that most of them have been either accidental or self-inflicted. But if this is the reflection of what the other cases were also there, I don't think anything can happen without a very clear-cut support of the police leadership. And where police leadership is getting support and strength, I have no idea. The audacity of this case is literally mind-boggling. Now you come to 2-3 things. See, first is, I think in 1996, we had the D.K. Basu judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court of India, where they have pronounced as to how arrests will be made in this country. I think flouting it has become the norm. And in this particular case, literally every single thing which is there in the Supreme Court judgment and not obeying that judgment is a contempt of court. I think everything has been flouted. The second most important thing is our lockups, as directed by High Court of Mumbai and Supreme Court. They're supposed to have cameras. And there are also public cameras. What these people have very, I think, deviously done is to move around in locations where there are no cameras.
No cameras. Yes.
Correct.
No, obviously there was an intent here to hide this kind of a brutality. And there was also an attempt. But sir, there was also an attempt to hide this crime or death in the first place. I'm joined by S. Harish Mohammad Ibrahim, who's a political analyst, joining us. What explains that the impunity is such that the police and the state tried to bury this case? They were trying to brush it under the carpet. They were trying to deny that there was a custodial death at all.
No, first of all, that is a total falsehood. The case was being registered on 28th of this month, once the news has came to the limelight. And immediately, 6 of the policemen have been suspended and kept on hold. And once the autopsy report is ready within the 24 hours, on 30th, all the 5 have been changed to the BNS systems with the culpable of homicide 196(2)(a), and they all have been sent to the judicial magistrate for the further investigation.
But is it not true? Is it not true that
the foul play?
I'll tell you what. Is it not true that initially the police suggested that this wasn't a beating death? That, the accused tried to flee, slipped, and therefore had died. Obviously, they didn't deny the death, but they tried to brush under the carpet the cause of the death.
Now, Shivani, we have to understand there is nowhere in judicial custody or extrajudicial killing or the lockup death has to be defended in any way. And the state government has been clear with their stand that whatever the necessary steps has to be taken, it will be taking, the law will take its own course. And by 28, the issue got reported. And by 30, after the autopsy report, all the 5 has been nabbed and been taken down to the judicial custody, with the case has been transferred from the BNS 196(2)(a), where I want to know, where does the foul play happen here?
Where is the foul play? Okay, let me take that to Shrikant Karunesh, because the BJP is not happy with the action that has been taken so far. The DMK party and the Chief Minister says we've done what could be done as far as this case is concerned.
Yeah, good evening, Sneha. This is a very shameful incident which has happened in Tamil Nadu repeatedly again and again. It's not even 24, it is the 31st such incidents when DMK came into power. what Mr. Ibrahim is telling is absolutely incorrect, because the court has raised few points which is so shameful to this ruling party, and the chief minister is handling the this police department. They said this transfer is eyewash. They said this is against human rights. They said this is a very brutal act of Tamil Nadu police. The height of the comment is the state has killed its own citizen. The court has condemned vehemently this ruling party for their brutality against its own citizens.
No, the court is talking about the brutality of the cops. My question to you, as the BJP and the opposition in the state, why are you blaming the DMK or the party in power for this? This has happened in other states. This has happened even in previous governments.
Yeah, when it happened in the previous government during 2020, when Thoothukudi case happened, no, when that time DMK was making all sorts of drama. They were on the roads literally. They ransacked everything. Plenty of things were happening. That was one such incident happened in 2020. But now, here, 31 such incidents have repeatedly happened. I tell you,
so this data
case,
of 31, I'll have to put it in abeyance because we don't have this data. But yes, this data has been presented in court. The court has asked.
Can I rebut?
Sir, I'm coming to you. Sir, I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you. Let him finish. This data has been presented in court. The court has asked for details from the state. So we'll put it in abeyance. But please go ahead. Finish your point.
This is from the press. I'm telling you, when there is no FIR filed until he was beaten to death.
Yes.
There is no FIR filed.
Yes.
And when the autopsy report, what they are telling, that will not happen only because of the interference of the court and the opposition party's interference. Until that time, DMK was trying to hide it. In fact, the court has witnessed one Mr. Sengai Maran of DMK and the Tirubonam DMK secretary and also the DSP have tried to bribe 50 lakhs of rupees through the deceased family to keep silence on this case.
Yes.
See, DMK government has tried all sort of things, but this person was beaten black and blue with iron rods, 44 injuries right from his face, nose, head, ears, abdomen, his glute, everywhere he has injuries. Totally inhuman. And how can a police can use a rod like this and hits its own
absolutely.
people?
As far as the cops in this case are concerned, there can be absolutely no expectation of any sympathy towards them. Because it's one thing to be violent and brutal like this. It's another to do this when you're actually supposed to protect the law and the citizens of this country. But yes, Mr. Ibrahim, you wanted to come in very quickly.
The CM has not given any statement. The height of this is the CM has not given any statement for this. They say, okay, we are taking action, but no sympathy for the deceased.
Okay, Mr. Ibrahim.
Nothing is so.
What kind of falsehood is blabbering on a live national television? NHRC has given... No, 1 second. Give me a second. I haven't interrupted you. From 2016 till 2021, there has been a 40... Shivani, you have to control this.
Okay, can I just come in? Mr. Ibrahim, I will request you to please just address all of our fellow panelists with as much respect as you can. Please go ahead.
That is the most respect I can give for the falsehood he has been blabbering like anything. By 2016 till 2021, there has been a 43 cases that has been filed by the NHRC report on the national. 1 second. If this is how your debate is going to run, then there is no point of being here. No, from 2016
and how you're supporting it.
Oh God.
Okay, 1 second. Can I just request everyone to please, I don't want to play monitor here and I don't want to, keep people on mute. I request that people will speak in their own allotted time. Yes, Mr. Ibrahim, please go ahead. 30 seconds. Nobody else to interrupt him, please. 30 seconds.
You have given 3 minutes of uninterrupted time to him to blabber.
Sir, you got enough time before him as well.
Let me come to the point. 2016 till 2021, during the ADMK regime, there has been a 43 police custody death has been reported by the NHRC. And now it has been dropped down to 23. That is a 50% of cut down. We don't want to defend, as like the previous speaker, we don't want to defend any kind of extrajudicial killing or anywhere.
But what about
the law will take its own course.
But what about the DMK connection? There is a connection to both the complainant. I'm coming to that. There is a connection to the complainant. Why would, for an ordinary complaint, first of all, no FIR be filed? Before an FIR is filed, interrogation is done.
Interrogation is done. Wrongly informed to you.
And what about the attempt to... What
Now,
about the
one-
attempt to buy the complainant's family, the victim's family? Yes.
Shivani, you have to get my clear facts. On 28, once the matter is being disposed between the Thirupuvanam Judicial Inspector Rage, the FIR has been reported on 303. The FIR registered on 303-2025. Immediately, 6 of the policemen have been.
Sir, you're not
sent to
understanding
the-
my question. Let me take that to
No,
Suman
you are
C.
not.
Raman. The allegation is that Ajith was picked up. No, one second. No. Please allow a free exchange of. No, please allow a free exchange. I have allowed you enough time. Please don't act like a victim right now. I've allowed you enough time. Suman C. Raman, one of my guests hasn't been. Please just hold on. The allegation, Sumant, is that Ajith was picked up before even FIR of the theft case was registered. That is what I'm talking about.
1 minute, Shivani. Please let us be very clear. I think the gentleman speaking does not know the difference between a CSR and an FIR.
Yes.
A CSR was registered. It was not an FIR. Unless he is accusing the Madras High Court of telling a lie. In court today, they have raised, the judges have actually asked the question, why was no FIR filed?
Yes.
And this gentleman is sitting on national TV and saying FIR was filed.
He's talking about the FIR on the death case. I am talking about the FIR on the theft case. He's not understanding the question I'm asking.
The man was picked up with no FIR in place at the time that he was picked up for questioning. That is the illegality which not me or not anybody, the Madras High Court has raised it in court today.
Yes.
On what basis was this person picked up without any FIR? And look, the other thing, on what basis do you go and say that the man... Oh, by the way, I must tell you, in 2022, there was another custodial death. And you know what happened? The man tried to escape and had seizures and died.
Yes.
This was said by the Honorable Chief Minister in the Assembly, that the man had seizures and died. Now, this man also has attempted to run, also had seizures. Now, I don't know. There is even this video now, I don't know whether they will question and say that this video is not actually him or it is AI generated. I don't know what they are going to say. But this is a, Shivani, let us be very clear. This is a pattern. 24 custodial deaths in the last 4 years. Tell me the number of policemen who have been dismissed. Forget charged with murder. Tell me the number of police. That is the next step. Tell me how many policemen have been dismissed from service.
Okay, let Mr. Ibrahim answer that.
Wait. I have another one.
Okay, one second, just hold on. Yes, let Sumit finish. Nobody else. Yes.
Between January 1st, 2024 and October end 2024, an RTI application said 100 accused suffered fractures in police stations by allegedly slipping on the bathroom floor. This was an RTI. How many policemen in the same period slipped on the same bathroom floor? No record. My question is, this is a pattern of brutality which has been normalized by the state government. Had action been taken in those 100 cases, it would not have... This is just an extension, breaking a bone and killing people. It is just that...
And then lying about what could be the cause. In this case, the postmortem revealed it. Otherwise, the cops were trying, as in past cases, apparently, to brush it under the carpet as a normal death.
Okay, how can you have such brutal injuries as outlined in the postmortem report being caused just by somebody having a fit? I mean, are they taking people to be fools?
Okay, Mr. Ibrahim, I've got a minute left. I'll give half a minute to both of our political representatives.
Shivani, one last sentence.
Yes.
By the way, there was an assistant superintendent of police who was found guilty by a state-appointed committee of having tortured an accused by pulling out his teeth forcibly.
Yes.
Right? The man was reinstated by the same state government.
And you know, just a week ago, there was a case of a constable hitting 3 women who had gone to the police station, including a pregnant woman. And that constable is also under suspension. But I think, Mr. Ibrahim, very quickly, I've got very limited time. The question to be asked is, you know, the state government, if it really wants to arrest this pattern, it needs to start doing more, because there doesn't seem to be fear amongst the cops that they will lose their job or face criminal action.
Shivani, I clearly mentioned 2016 to 2021, there has been a 43 police custody death has been reported, where it has been dropped down to 50%. We are not defending here. The state government or anyone is not defending or not going to go ahead and compare with the previous government. But the law will take its own course, is what the CM has been categorically said. And the law has taken its own course. Once I don't know who is the speaker before.
Suman C. Raman was speaking before you.
Okay, what kind of judicial knowledge he has, I doesn't know. Once the CRC had been given, the prima facie evidence has to be collected and it has been interrogated.
In any case, that doesn't justify what the cops did.
So you lied when you said FIR.
The main issue here is whether cops who do this are going to face both criminal action and plus a loss of job. Otherwise, there's not going to be any fear amongst errant cops either. I do thank our guests for joining us. The Right Stand is coming up after a short break.
Brought to you by... This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
And we are getting a piece of breaking news. EM Jaishankar calls out Pakistan in the United Nations. He said that any state-sponsored terrorism must be exposed. He said this at United Nations Anti-Terrorism Exhibition. Jaishankar urges global community to act against terrorism. That is a big statement that is coming in from External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, where he has called out Pakistan at the United Nations. And we are joined by Akansha Saroop on this broadcast. Akansha, that is a strong statement coming in from S. Jaishankar. How do you see this?
Absolutely. Harsh must keep in mind that he's directly taken a jibe, or he's directly indicated Pakistan's role in the Pahalgam terror attack when he said that no impunity should be given to terrorists, no treating them as proxies, no yielding to nuclear blackmail. This is exactly what even the US had hinted at, that there was a massive threat, which is why India had, there was an understanding also that had been made. And any state sponsorship must be exposed and must be countered. So important to highlight that the External Affairs Minister is making that point at the UN Assembly on anti-terrorism and urged the global community to act. He also referred to that resolution which was passed by the UN 5 weeks ago, condemning the terror act in Pahalgam on 22nd of April. So he wants to make a point to the UN, to the larger international community. It's also part of the broader push under Operation Sindoor, soon after our multi-party delegation went visiting across the globe. So important to also highlight that the Pak Army Chief Asim Munir was in the United States. He met Donald Trump, and Saturday at the naval parade, at the passing out parade of the Navy in Pakistan, he's gone on to talk about how what India may treat as terrorism is a legitimate struggle for them. They will continue to back terrorists diplomatically, militarily, in whatever way possible. So Asim Munir again, instigating the sentiments over there and playing the rabble-rouser that he has. So for the External Affairs Minister to make that point is a very significant one. It's also part of his visit where, remember, he's attending that Quad foreign ministerial meet at the behest of the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. And it's also a reminder to the United States that if they regard India as a strategic ally, one that is an integral partner to the United States in the Quad grouping, then they will also have to address concerns of India when it comes to terrorism, because remember, India is going to be playing the Quad chair this year.
Right. Akansha, I would request you to stay on with us as we are getting another piece of breaking news. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on Monday confirmed that the United States and India are close to finalizing a trade agreement. Her comments came shortly after Trump voiced optimism about finalizing the trade pact with India. And we'll listen in to the White House Press Secretary's bite.
Yes, the president said that last week, and it remains true. I actually just spoke to our Secretary of Commerce about it. He was in the Oval Office with the president. They are finalizing these agreements, and you'll hear from the president and his team, his trade team, very soon when it comes to India.
And we have Akansha on this broadcast. Akansha, does this mean a trade deal is right around the corner between US and India?
Absolutely. And when they are saying that India is a strategic ally and that Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi share a good relationship, Caroline...
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. Over the next few minutes here on The Right Stand, we will show to you how a hidden ISIS recruitment network is operating from Kerala all the way up to Khorasan. And these grooming gangs are now spreading their tentacles all across Bharat. How Dalit girls are being indoctrinated and radicalized for terror. From UK to Prayagraj to Kerala, it's the same modus. Are there grooming gangs in Bharat too? Exclusive details have been shared by Manoj Kumar